So again, hello, I'm Principal Doherty at Ralston Middle School. You are here for the Ralston Middle School incoming 6th grade information night. After doing many webinars over the last year and a half, I realized that sometimes it can be awkward with the silence of us waiting, so I will say it again and repeat myself. I am Principal Doherty. Thank you for being here. This is Ralston Middle School's incoming 6th grade information night, and we are waiting a few minutes as everyone is entering our presentation. Alrighty, thank you very much for being here. Although I've said it a few times, I am going to start back and introduce myself. My name is Michael Doherty. I am the principal of Ralston Middle School, and you are all here for our incoming 6th grade information night. We are talking about a lot of the things that we offer, but I do need to say it, and you'll hear it quite often through our presentation tonight. We're not exactly sure what school will look like next year. So we are kind of under the premise of we will be normal to what we have been in the past, but there could be changes in our future. And now if I can just work this slide, that would be amazing. Here we are. Slide 1, our topics tonight are our overall philosophy, a little sampling of our 6th grade curriculum, sample 6th grade schedule. We'll talk about some of our programs. Footsteps is our aftercare program and our extracurricular opportunities. Before I introduce all of my team members here, I got to give a big shout out and thank you to School Force for all the support. We wouldn't be where we are without the funding and the moral support that we get from all of our School Force members. And our PTA is amazing, and they are always looking for volunteers. There are actually some chair positions available right now. So if you are interested, you can email me and I can get you in contact with our amazing PTA president, Joe Cubbins, to see if you might have a want for one of the chair positions that is open. So I'm going to go into introductions here before we get into what is Ralston Middle School. I have a few people here with me. Ralston is a large school where we have approximately 1,150 students, give or take. This school is too big for one person to administer all that we administer, so I have 2 assistant principals, and they are here with me tonight. First off, I have Methany Bozeman, and I also have Mr. Chuck Donovan. We are lucky at Ralston Middle School to have 3 amazing counselors, and by having 3 counselors, we're able to assign them to grade levels and team them up with an administrator. So we have currently this year as our 6th grade counselor, Miss Rachel Parker, as our 7th grade counselor, Miss Jennifer Heck, and our 8th grade counselor, Miss Lauren Rocha. As I mentioned, we get to team the administrators with our counselors. So I'm teamed with Rachel Parker, Chuck Donovan is teamed with Jennifer Heck, and Methany Bozeman is teamed with Lauren Rocha. We have 2 teachers, and they usually are the stars of this show. We have a 6th grade math teacher, an all-around amazing person, Miss Maya Bromberg. And we also have Flora Updegraff, who is a 6th grade science teacher, has taught physics in the past. We are not offering that currently with COVID. And she's a co-coordinator of our web program, and she's a whole lot of fun to be around. So welcome, Maya and Floor. Thank you for being here. You again can see that we are going to go over our 6th grade schedule. We're going to talk about some of the counseling that we do and give you a sampling of some clubs. Since there are multiple panelists here, you're not going to hear all from me. We're going to kind of bounce around back and forth. You're going to have questions as we go. And the way that you can submit questions is there's a Q&A little chat bubble. It's probably at the bottom of your screen that you can write in that chat. We will sort of be monitoring it, but the way the night will go is we'll talk for mostly, say, half of our presentation, and the other half of the presentation will be based on your questions. So we may see a question that's pertinent to what we're talking about at that moment. We might be able to answer it. If we do not answer it in that moment, we will circle back at the end and try to address all the questions that you have. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Miss Bethany Bozeman.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I am charged with talking about our curriculum. Our curriculum for 6th grade is, of course, aligned with our Common Core standards, including science, aligned with our new generation science standards. As a 6th grader, your child, or you, if you are a 5th grader right now, you will be taking 5 basic subjects and 1 elective, which we'll talk about in a moment. The 5 basic subjects are math. English is broken up into 2 parts, composition and literature. And those 2 classes really focus on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And you've got social studies, and you've got science, and of course you have PE. And then for electives, again, we'll talk about that in a moment. Towards the end of your 5th grade year, wherever you are in BRSSD, you will be taking a math assessment to help us kind of determine the best math placement for you. We do have what we call AS math, which stands for advanced
Standing.
Thank you, advanced standing. I was thinking advanced placement, but that's AP. Thank you, Ms. Bromberg, for saving me there. Advanced standing placement. And that we will be determining at the end of the year, and you will be receiving some more information about which class your student is placed in. If your student is not currently in the district, we do offer a placement test that we give at school. Now for the electives, you get 1 elective as a 6th grader, and you can either be placed in the explorative wheel, or you can be placed in a music class. And if you choose to be in a music class, we have band, orchestra, and chorus. If music is not your inclination, then we place you in the exploratory wheel, which I believe Mr. Donovan is going to talk a little bit about later. But that is kind of like a sample platter, kind of like a buffet style, where you get a new elective at the change of every quarter. And then I know there's some talk there about the Chromebooks, that we are 1-to-1 with all of our classes. And with the music program, we do have a very robust program with over 200 participants. And you can see that it's listed there, all of the different programs that we have. The classes include the chamber choir, advanced orchestra and orchestra, jazz band, symphonic band, and band. I think that's it.
Thanks, Mrs. Bozeman. Sorry for the technical issues of me flipping around. Somehow my Zoom screen was gone, and I had to minimize to get it back, so I apologize for that. Moving on from Ms. Bozeman, we're going to go, as I mentioned before, to the stars of the show, and they are, if I can get this thing to work again, our teachers. So we have Miss Maya Bromberg speaking on math, and then following Maya will be Floor Updegraff for science.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, and thanks so much for being here. I I just have to start by saying that I feel like a Zoom rookie with my lighting. It's like so dark on me. This is not my standard setup, and so we've got some. This is my evening setup down in a separate place. Anyways, I was a little bit embarrassed when I saw how horrible my lighting is. But I want to welcome everybody to Ralston, and thank you for attending. One of the things that is unique at Ralston is that every teacher is a subject matter specialist. So I teach just math, and our science teachers teach just science. And so that's one of the things I think where our what we're offering students is just a little bit different, because we have the chance to focus exclusively on our one curriculum and really hone that in. And then the other thing that, I'm a parent also, the other thing that I wanted to just touch on briefly is I know that a lot of us feel anxiety. I see it in my students, and I hear it from parents about the transition to middle school. And it is a really big shift, and it is a really big change for students. But as I just was saying, we're really fortunate at Ralston that we tend to stay at our grade level. So I've been actually teaching sixth grade for about 18 years. I've seen a variety of kids coming into sixth grade. A lot of us stay at the grade level that we're at, and we are subject matter specialists and grade level specialists. And so we have had a chance to see what kids are experiencing at sixth grade, and we do everything in our power to help them have a smooth and successful transition. With that being said, I want to speak just briefly also about the mathematics, and the Q&A box lit up right away about all the placement questions and things like that. So I just want to start by saying Ralston does offer two different types of math. Both of them can be very, very successful depending upon who your child is and what kind of a learner they are. So there's one track that is called the Common Core track, and that covers all of the sixth grade standards that are part of our California curriculum. And then there also is an advanced track, which covers all of those same standards, all of the sixth grade standards, and includes about 2 or 3 additional chapters that go a little bit beyond. That class goes a bit faster and is designed for students who are really ready to tear up the mathematics. Several questions came up in the Q&A about the placement. So for in-district students, we're using multiple measures. We know that the best thing for children is not to have a high stakes exam where there's just one opportunity for them to show their success. So there are several different opportunities throughout the school year. There are several snapshots that we take of a student so that we can get an impression of how likely they are to be needing the extra boost that is offered in the advanced curriculum, or whether we think that their needs will be met in a great way in the sixth grade class. So I don't want to speak specifically to when those are, but they are all throughout the year, and it is to get a snapshot of your student as a learner. For people who are coming into the district, Ms. Bozeman can retouch on this, but typically that placement is given, I think, in the fall. Is that correct, Ms. Bozeman? Or in both, maybe both in the spring and the fall? Just the fall?
Sorry, I had to find mute. I'll jump in on that one, Maya.
Yeah.
We generally put it out in the spring. That way we can get our schedules done for the fall. But there are new students that do come to us in the fall, so we offer it on a much smaller scale in the fall.
Fantastic. So, if you know already that you are excited to come to Ralston, then you will be hearing about the placement in the spring. I will have Mr. Doherty speak, but I believe that we are currently only offering advance in mathematics at this time, that there has been some program changes. So for those of you who are asking about other options, at the moment, that is only a mathematics choice. Then the other thing that I just really quickly wanted to say is that sometimes people feel a lot of pressure or a lot of anxiety about that initial math placement. And what I just want to say, and I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, is that all of the math teachers at Ralston, we are continuing, we have very flexible placement paths. And 6th grade teachers will meet with you if you are placed in a 6cc class and you are excited to learn about advanced placement in other years. We will be happy to meet with you and to talk about that and to discuss what we see in your child. It will happen throughout the year, just like 5th grade. We take multiple snapshots and multiple times of getting to know your student and having a lot of data so that we can make the best informed decision at the end of 6th grade. So just please know that initial placement is nothing locked in stone. There are a lot of times where students move. We make decisions and change students at every single year. I think that those kind of caught the questions that I saw, but we are super excited to meet your kids. We're super excited to be 6th grade teachers and to be subject matter specialists. And we look forward to meeting you if Ralston's a great fit for your family. I will pass it on to my friend and colleague, Ms. Updegraff.
Thank you, Ms. Bromberg. Hello, I'm Fleur Updegraft, and I have been teaching at Ralston for about 4 years. This is my 18th year of teaching. As Ms. Bromberg said, we're subject area specialists. I teach 6th grade science, but I also teach a couple elective classes that are physics, and I advise on the WEB class. WEB stands for Where Everyone Belongs, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. First, I'm going to talk about 6th grade science, where we offer an integrated science classes, which means we follow the next generation science standards with physical science in the fall, covering heat and energy and all those components of transfer. In each unit that we do each semester, we offer an engineering project. Our belief is that science is learned best by hands-on, an inquiry-based program. In the spring, we do life sciences and also offer another engineering project. And we believe if students love science, they will continue to explore it and have a desire to learn it more. The other piece of that is that the science department of Ralston is very rigorous, and we align with all of the local high schools. So what that means, whether it's Carlmont, Bellarmine, Sarah, Notre Dame, we follow the writing expectations, and a lot of the high schools are interested in making sure that incoming high school students have a certain level of nonfiction science-based writing. And so we align ourselves with that. In terms of WEB is a student-run new student orientation. And this orientation is put on, you can see, by our WEB leaders. They are student leaders that welcome our incoming 360 to 400 plus students. We do a one-day orientation. We've done it now for 3 years. And our student leaders go into a classroom with incoming 6th graders. They teach them they discuss good habits. They give them campus tours, and they make a connection, which is really important for the 6th graders to sort of see an upperclassman that is wearing their WEB shirt, and they can go and ask them questions and see them at lunch. WEB also has lunchtime clubs, so that if a student comes in and they're out of the district, they don't have a lot of 6th grade friends that they're hanging out with. WEB will make sure that they get connected. We do the same thing for transfer students. So that is the WEB program. And I am happy to answer questions. Any questions about science or Ralston's approach to bullying? Good question. So one of the things that we talk about in web is that sometimes people bully other folks because they don't have a connection, a positive connection with people in school. And web offers that in a lot of different variations. One of the clubs is a fantasy football club, and that's built with a lot of young men are involved in that. I'm sure there are also girls in that club. Um, and we haven't had a whole lot of bullying. Usually the teachers have a pretty firm perspective on that, and we just don't tolerate it. Um,
And I'd also like to just chime in something, if that's okay. For the bullying, we do also have a curriculum. So we have second step curriculum, which is a social and emotional curriculum. And it actually has a whole bullying prevention unit. And so actually we already covered that in the last few months with the sixth graders. We go over, what is bullying and how they can be upstanders and how they can stand up to bullying. So it is something we do talk about with them. And from what I've seen, the sixth graders have said they haven't really had much bullying so far. And they've been pretty good overall, said that, yeah, everyone's been nice to them. But we do have a curriculum and we do have a way for reporting it if something happens as well.
Thank you, Rachel. One of the questions I saw was, how do students apply to web? You have to be web or student government. These are upperclassmen programs. So if their sixth grade year, they decide they want to be a big brother or big sister to incoming sixth graders, they apply, and then we have an interview process. They are often interviewed by peers, and also there are two teachers that oversee web, and there's also a teacher that oversees student government and yearbook. These are at levels that are available, and boy, in the past there's been art, there has been cookie or decorating, there has been the environmental club. I said fantasy football. I know there's another springtime. I can't remember. I thought it was on the slide. There might be more information about web clubs later on. And there was one other question that I saw about helping students get caught up. I think one of the things that Miss Bromberg and I would agree upon is that when students have gotten behind in terms of distance learning, we know this is a tough time for everyone, whether it's a technology error or support at home or lack of focus. There's so many challenges right now. And we have been very accepting of late work, and we have office hours where they can come in and get one-on-one support. So I think that you would find at Ralston that the teachers are very supportive and understanding, especially during this difficult time. And regarding web, how will it expand and change when you have 2 full grade levels next year that haven't attended the school in person? That's a great question. So we haven't spoken about that, and that might be an interesting question for Mr. Doherty. We haven't conducted a 7th grade orientation before, but it's not out of the question. And our incoming class this year was relatively large. It's a good question, and we haven't discussed it. So it's probably one we can think about. Yeah, Mr. Doherty?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Immediately, I have ideas, and just talking to everyone. The web program was really designed for the 8th grade students, right? So when we first brought it, we didn't quite have enough interest, and therefore we expanded it to 8th and 7th. So, if we can't make it work with what we have, because we do have a group of 6th graders right now who haven't really been on campus ever, so it'd be a little difficult to make a tour, we might have to tap into more current 7th graders as they are 8th graders. But as Ms. Updegraff says, we'll brainstorm that and bring our team together to make sure that we can continue, because the web program is a shining star for Ralston, and Ms. Updegraff and Mr. Bean, who is the coordinator and teacher, are amazing with the kids. I think if you were to ask any of our current web leaders or any of our students who have experienced the web experience, they would tell you that it's one that they will not forget. So thank you.
Mr. Doherty.
Thank you, Mrs. Updegraff.
Just so you know, this is a picture after orientation. We had oriented 360 incoming freshmen or incoming sixth graders, excuse me, and they all came to my classroom for pizza. And this is after orientation, the picture in front of you.
Thank you, Flor. And next up, I believe, is Mr. Donovan.
That is correct. All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. I am going to try to make sense of the Ralston schedule, which the kids seem to really get it, but it took me a little bit. But just trust that the kids are more flexible and adaptable than the adults, and they get it down very quickly. So at Ralston, we have a 7-period, or students are assigned 7 classes, but only 6 classes meet a day, which means that we have a floating period. So over the course of a week, your student will have they will see all of their classes 4 out of the 5 days overall. On Wednesdays, we have an early release, and that allows for the staff to be able to do professional development, meet as a grade level or as a department to talk about kids and different things that are happening to make sure that we create this big school with a small feeling to it overall. Additionally, the library is open during snack and lunch, so different students have different places that they can go to and hang out overall. So that's kind of the general overview of the schedule. Next, we're going to look at a sample, and I'm going to talk about the wheel elective. So this is what your student's schedule might look like, just as an example. If they do, now because English is blocked in 6th grade, so it's broken up into 2 different classes of lit and comp, but really it's a block English class if you think about it. That means they only get 1 elective. So if they do chorus or music, they won't be able to participate in the wheel. What the wheel is basically a sampling of 4 of the different electives that they'll be able to apply for in 7th and 8th grade when they can actually take 2 electives, not just 1. But what they'll do is have a sampling of the different electives in 6th grade that gives them an idea of what they may want to take when they're 7th and 8th graders. Again, our electives are always a bit of a moving target because it just depends on staffing and need and what students are interested in, what we can offer at that year. So this is an idea, but it's not set in stone.
Thanks, Mr. Donovan. To add on to that, this one has come up more this year, I think, because we've had less FaceTime with everyone, is students don't get to choose which wheel class they get. It is, again, a sampling. So they might have French, and they're like, I don't want French. Well, they're going to have French for one of their 4 quarters, and they rotate through, so they're on a cycle. But you do not get a choice of which wheel elective. You get to choose wheel elective, or you get to choose a music.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. Important distinction, but they will cycle through with the different at each quarter to be able to experience all of the different electives.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. Thank you. And Ms. Bozeman, I'm going to take this one. Samtrans is our bus service. They are not a public school system. This is the city of San Mateo, so we don't really have control over Samtrans. Again, with COVID as it is now, we're not seeing any buses that are coming onto our campus. So this slide is really what used to happen. And it's a little bit chaotic, it seems like, because a lot of students would ride the bus, but buses would arrive to school about 7:45. Which was a little earlier than our first bell. We had 1 supervisor on, plus our administrators before 8 o'clock. Official supervision doesn't start until 8. But we ended up with 8 different buses. We had 2 60s, 3 67s, and 3 68s. And you can think about it. Why 3 67s? Because we had 1 for 6th grade, 1 for 7th grade, and 1 for 8th grade. We did also have a 260 that came. We would line students up in our quad. A teacher would be out there to help organize and keep everyone safe. And then as the buses arrived, one of the administrators would go out and collect that line of students and help them board the bus. So again, this is what Samtrans used to be like. Not sure exactly what it will be like in the future.
So in addition to offering a bunch of clubs and a great academic program, we offer a robust sports program as well. And athletics are a really big deal in BRSSD. And the idea is that we just want to make sure, in addition to the clubs, that we're offering a space for every different type of kid that comes through the doors. This is just another way that we make the big school feel small for kids. You know, just as an example, these are some of the sports that we offer. So in the fall, there's volleyball, cross country, and golf. Winter, there's boys and girls basketball. And just to give you an idea of how popular and large our sports program is, we ran out 3 different basketball teams just for 6th grade last year. So it just gives you an idea of the appeal and how large it is. And then in the spring, we offer tennis and track and field overall. So again, just an opportunity for different students to find their different niche in middle school, which is can be a hard time, and we do everything we can to make it easier.
And to add on to that as well, and to make sure everyone is in the know, our sports are cut sports. So you must try out to make the team. Cross country and track, anybody who comes out makes the team. Everything else is extremely competitive. So I just want to make sure that there's no guarantee that you want to play basketball. You will be on our basketball team, but we welcome the tryout. There are cuts due to number of coaches and number of teams that we offer.
And also one other thing, in addition to holding sports in the gym, we also hold dances and after school socials and things like that. Again, just more opportunities for students in the middle school to build connection and be able to socialize with one another.
Thanks, Mr. Donovan.
All right, I believe it's my turn. Is that right, Mr. Doherty?
Thanks, Ms. Rocha. If you say so, then you're up.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Ms. Rocha. I'm one of the counselors at Ralston, and many of the opportunities were already mentioned, but I wanted to expand a little bit on the extracurriculars we have. And something that's neat about Ralston, because it is so large, is that we have what I think is an interest for everyone and so many different types of students. So we've had groups with web from, we've had skateboard club, we've had robotics, animation, like Miss Updegraff said, there was gardening at one point. So really whatever our 6th graders are interested in, we're open to starting, and we have gotten creative even over distance learning with how to keep kids engaged. And we do have intramurals too. So that's a kind of a good middle ground between a student wanting to participate in a, you know, an athletic kind of competition, but maybe not wanting to try out or fully commit. So I think about every month or so, our PE teachers rotate the different intramurals that we do. We've had flag football, basketball, volleyball, and sometimes even teachers participate in those. So we do have a pretty robust kind of group of students that does a lot of different things. And our student government, along with web, really drives those activities and what we offer for our students. So a lot out there, a lot of possibilities. And I know that both our teachers and our counselors and our admin is always creative to try new things too. So that's something that I've really enjoyed about our school.
Thanks, Ms. Rocha.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next slide here. I believe that's a counselor slide as well.
Ms. Heck, I think.
Yeah. So in addition to our clubs, we have some programs on campus that are for behavior. So one of the programs that we're ramping up and always working on and continuing to see grow is our PBIS system. That's our positive behavioral intervention supports. And those are the posters that we see on campus that show kids what it means to be have the Rams way and what behavior expectations, so that we set those up for them as they arrive. Another program that we have on campus is the counselors run this, and it's a safe space club, and we work on mental health awareness, and it's student led, and whatever the students' interests are, we meet every week, and we help drive and create mental health awareness programs on campus. And in addition, we have our SAGA program, which is Sexuality and Gender Alliance, another student-led group. And during lunchtime, we have an alternative place where children can hang out indoors, and we have a counselor in there. We have we are just there to supervise and talk to kids if they want, and it's a good place for kids to come and meet new people if maybe they're shy to go outside or they just want to have a place where they feel welcome. Those are fun. The sixth grade room is always packed and always a lively group. And another program that I actually love to be involved in is after schools. We have in the library, we have on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we've had a homework club. Those are fun. You get to, persuade students to go and show up and get some extra time, and they can work together. We show them how to work together on a project. Hey, you have science, come over here. We wander around and kind of help them out. And then the math department also runs additional supports after school or before school on Wednesdays. And these types of programs will expand next year. So I think now it's back to Mike.
I
Thank
saw
you,
two
Ms.
questions, Mike,
yeah.
that can I answer two questions?
Go for it, Lauren. Yep.
I saw a question come up about how many clubs you can participate in, as many as you'd like and as many as you're able to balance with both, new sixth grade curriculum and going to a new school. If you want to participate in 5, great, but if you can only handle 1, that's okay too. And I also saw a question about what is Upstanders. So Upstanders was a program that I think a few years back we kind of started. I'm not sure how active it is right now, but it's talking about kind of upstanding and standing up to bullying or negative kind of behaviors that you're seeing on campus. So there are similar kind of projects and things that the counselors are working on in that vein. And if that's something that sixth graders interested in, we're happy to discuss.
Awesome. Thanks, Ms. Rocha. I appreciate that. And again, anyone can jump in. To the audience, I am not looking at the Q&A because I will be distracted. So I'm counting on my team to look at that. And at the very end, we will circle back and answer what we have not already addressed. I think this slide is mine. This is after school care. Again, I'm not 100% sure what this will look like for next year, but Footsteps Aftercare is a program that we've had on the Ralston campus for a long time, and in just BRSSD in general. Our particular coordinator's name is JR. He's a great guy. Our students would go to the MUR and hang out, do homework, play basketball, read, and just kind of be there and be safe until their parents were able to pick them up. For more information, I encourage you to go to the Ralston Footsteps website. This presentation we are going to be putting on our website, so you can then just click the Ralston Footsteps. It'll take you there, or you can Google it yourself. We're also recording this particular presentation, so if you want to watch this great talk, you can watch it again at your own time. But we do have an aftercare program. It's Footsteps, and it is held in our MUR after school.
All right, I think I'm up. Hi, I'm Rachel Parker. I'm the sixth grade counselor this year, and we do rotate with our students. So last year I was eighth grade, this year I'm sixth grade, and we would go up, so seventh grade and then eighth grade again. Okay, so we have a great counseling department. We have just so many things that we're actively involved in. And pretty much we are here to support your students. We're here to just be here as a support for them. If they're going through anything just at school, with classes, with teachers, with anything at home, we're here to talk to them. And we do individual counseling. We're not therapists, so we don't do ongoing therapy, but we do provide, short-term individual counseling about just solution focused on, how to do well in school, how to deal with conflict resolutions with friends, lots of things like that. We also offer group counseling, and so we offer groups such as anxiety and stress management. We're in the planning right now doing a grief group. We also have a coping skills group. So we do lots of small groups as well. We also are in charge of social and emotional learning lessons, and we do those once a month in the classrooms. Those are second step lessons. And so those are done, and those are great time. We get to see all the students, and really, the teachers are helping a lot this year with, distance learning. And so we're recording ourselves doing the lessons, and the teachers are actively engaging the students in the discussions. So it's been really positive feedback so far. We also do minute meetings with our students. What that means is we pretty much try to meet with each individual student and talk to them. Now this year it's been a little bit different virtually, but we still are trying to do as many as we can and just like getting FaceTime with students. We're also in charge of the 504 plans. So we're 504 case managers and part of the SST teams, which is student study team meetings. So for a student study team meeting, that's any students that are maybe struggling with something, and the teachers, the administrators, everyone comes together and we talk about what we can do to support the student and what interventions we can put in place to help them. All right. We also do like lots of crisis management. So we do risk assessments. And then there's a lot of stuff for 8th grade. So Ms. Roach is busy this year. She's 8th grade. And so she's doing letters of recommendation for private schools. She's doing transcripts for private schools. And so also career fair for 8th grade. So 8th grade, we always have a career fair. So that's like a big event. We even had one last year as well online. So we had a virtual career fair where we had like 30 something, speakers come and speak about their careers. So it was great. And we also do just, articulation, which we're doing right now to, going up to 6th grade and then going up to 9th grade. And I think that's pretty much it, but yeah, very busy.
Oh, well, one, I would say our counselors do much more than what is listed here. We're, again, amazingly lucky to have the 3 dedicated individuals here supporting all of our staff and our students. There's a big relationship focus in our school in general, and our counselors kind of lead that way. So I thank you for all of your work because it's extraordinary. One thing I did want to add, because many of the people in our audience right now are at a feeder school and you will be coming to Ralston next year. If you are a student that has some sort of learning plan, say an IEP or a 504, IEPs have a transition meeting via the special education department, but our 504s, we also do a transition meeting from that feeder school into Ralston. And the reason we do that is because we want to know who our students are, and we want to try to place them in the most appropriate classes and with the teachers that we feel that will relate to them the most. So add on to Lauren's plate, because she will be the 6th grade counselor next year. You will meet her, and there will already be a face to a name. So when students do get onto campus virtually or in person, they will already know at least one of our staff. And at those meetings, an administrator will also be there. Last year it was Rachel and I doing them. This year it will be Methany and Lauren doing them. But again, counselors do all sorts of things. If you talk to them, you also need to assume you're talking to an administrator. Well, we work extremely close together. And that's the conclusion of our presentation here. We will go into Q&A, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point. I love the hands. As I told my team that's here, I need help with the Q&A. So I'm going to be quiet, and I see Maya, you're going to be up next. You can say a question, or you can read me a question, or you can answer a question, but let's try to get through as many questions as we can possibly get through. I think right now it's about 6:45 or so. So just a time check. Ms. Bromberg.
I just wanted to say one thing. Obviously, we all love Ralston, and we're very, very proud of it. I've seen a couple of questions that pertain to the ELA program, and I haven't answered those, but a few people have said, like, we understand that at Ralston in 7th and 8th grade, students just have one period of language arts. How can you speak to this compared to the reader and writer workshop model? So one thing that I will say with all the pride in my heart is that if you, Ralston teachers see a lot of students, and my understanding of some of the other programs is that teachers are core. So a math teacher would teach math and science, and the students would see fewer teachers and get to know them a little bit better. So just to be honest, from a parent perspective, if you are thinking about your child and you're thinking that the most important thing to them is developing that strong relationship with their core teachers, and that they're going to feel that intimacy. We have a lot of strengths, and that's not necessarily the strength that we offer. So I just wanted to put that out there, so that parents can really make the best choice, because we care about your children too. And we want you and your children to be in an environment that's going to help make you happy. And Belmont's awesome that we offer these different things. And then the other thing is, I've answered this question a couple of different times. There's no set number of spaces in the advanced math program. A lot of parents are saying, like, what percentage of students are in this, what percentage are not. That's not the way that our program works. Mr. Doherty is really flexible, and our scheduling is really flexible. We look at the students who qualify, and those are the spaces that we make available. So he determines how many classes are offered based upon the students who would be best served in that class. So those are my 2 cents.
Oh, that's good, Maya. I'm going to touch on one of those things as far as the placement. Yeah, I don't look at a set number. I don't believe in that. I think the development of students varies year to year. So we look at our test scores, and then we develop the master schedule based off of that. We could possibly run into space issues, middle of the year, but generally we are not moving students in the middle of the year either. So it is more of a growth mindset to look at the students and what they need, and then develop the schedule based on that, rather than saying 1 class or 2 classes. Jennifer?
Mike, there's a few questions around the actual registration process. So one of them is middle school choice required for Fox students?
No, not required. I would do it anyways if I was the parent. Fox should just come straight to Ralston. But just to be sure, I'm a rule follower, right, in process. I would do it anyways, because I wouldn't want anything slipping through the cracks. But Fox would be the one school that comes to us. You do have the option to choose something else, Nesbitt or Sandpiper, if you are going through Fox. But generally speaking, all students from Fox come to Ralston.
The next one is, how do we know when the registration started, and how do we get the information about registration, or any forms or anything like that?
Got it. That's a good question. I'm going to think that's coming from a student that is not in BRSSD currently. We will put them online onto our website. They are not there currently. Our superintendent's been sending them out, and they are also on the district website. So if you are looking right now, you can look on the district website and see enrollment forms in the process. All right, thank you for that. Anyone else seeing any other questions there?
I saw a good one that I'd like to respond to, which is somebody asked how are parents involved, and Mike, you can jump in on this one in a minute. But what we do at Ralston is not possible without us partnering with you. So you are deeply involved. At the same time, middle school is a great middle ground, for lack of a better term, in terms of taking that step towards adulthood while still having one foot in childhood. And it's a great opportunity for them to exercise independence in ways large and small. And so some of those might be, if the student has a question on an assessment or something like that, they should be the ones to email the teachers. But please know that we communicate a lot to Go Home, but it's a partnership that we work with you on helping your students grow in independence so they can be ready for high school by the end of their time at Ralston.
We love parents. We don't want you to disappear in middle school. I will tell you that, right? No matter what your student says, we do not want you to disappear. We want you to be part of it. We want you on our campus during lunch. We want to see you at our events, at our band events, at our sporting events. You will see administrators, counselors, and teachers sprinkled around at all sorts of different events. But we again are focused on relationships, and I tout that in everything that we do, that we want to connect with you and your students to serve them the best possible way.
And we're always looking for lunch volunteers.
Yeah, especially for 7th and 8th grade. If you're a 6th grade parent, generally the kids don't want to see you. Well, come anyways, and then you can stay for 7th and 8th grade.
There's a question about the orientation process for incoming 6th graders.
This one's going to have to wait. I'm going to have to table orientation. Again, we're not exactly sure what the fall will bring, so we're going to have to wait on that one to be able to answer that. but we will put it on our website. We will push it out when we know what we're doing. We will make sure that we are being transparent with our process, and hope to see everybody there in person, hopefully, fingers crossed. Other questions?
There's questions about the ELA classes, because we've talked about the math. They're asking, can you describe the ELA classes in 6th through 8th?
Can we describe the ELA classrooms? I'm thinking that must be a curriculum type of a question. We follow Study Sync. We're not in a readers and writers workshop. We do meet with our students, but we're really just following essential standards, trying to be aligned with each other, and making sure our students are prepped for the next level and for the high school. But we do not use readers and writers workshop. I just brought it up. Oh, look at that, Q&A. Are teachers getting vaccinated now? That's a question that's above my pay grade. The answer really is no. I don't know when it'll happen. I don't know timeline. As far as all of that information, all of you know just as much as I do.
Mr. Doherty, there's a question about 6th graders separated from 7th and 8th graders. Other than lunch, they all get dismissed and enter school at the same time in a normal environment, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's a good question. And we keep them apart at lunch, right? That's probably the biggest, because lunch is free time. And when does stuff happen? Generally, free time. So 6th graders are out there by themselves. During school, for the most part, they are housed in our U building. There's not too many other classes. They are spread across campus. So they're not coming into a lot of contact with 7th and 8th graders for the most part. They do see them at snack if they want to go find them, or they want to go play basketball, or just go on the field. But the 6th graders are kind of kept over here, or they're housed over here. If they want to go over here, they can. 7th and 8th graders generally stay over here on our campus. And again, it's a little hard to explain, but we have a building that's shaped like a U. We call it the U building. It's pretty much 6th grade. And then we have a B building that's pretty much 8th grade. That's the 2-story building that you'll see on our campus. And then 7th and 8th graders are kind of split in between. If you are coming from Nesbitt, do you need to do enrollment? Yes, you should do the enrollment. Yes, definitely. Enrollment has already begun. The middle school choice is due February 5th. That's why you have these presentations for all schools going on this week and last week. But February 5th is the due date for the middle school choice. We do not have piano in the music program. RSP classes are special education classes. I will let Mr. Donovan talk about that, as he is our administrator supervising special education.
So we offer RSP math and English, and basically what that is a special education version of the gen ed classes. And so what that does is it works, it's a smaller class environment, and they also work at a different pace to allow and make sure that everybody is able to access the curriculum and meet their IEP goals within those classes. In the 7th and 8th grade, that moves into more of a co-taught model, and we expand our offerings, but in 6th grade, that's RSP, math, and ELA.
Thanks, Mr. Donovan. I see another question here. Do we have to sign up our child for 6th grade? What do we have to sign up our child for 6th grade? You have to enroll them, make sure that Ralston is your choice, and then we just need to know, is it a music class that they would like as their elective, or is it the wheel? The majority of our incoming 6th graders go into the wheel, but that can be done with the enrollment forms.
All the enrollment forms are posted now in the chat.
Thank you. Okay, I see another one. This is a good question. If we pick a school in the district and it's not working out, how hard is it to switch to another school in the district? We have new district leadership with our new superintendent. We have a new CBO and a new human resource director this year. And I think everyone's still kind of, figuring their way. But currently, we do not have or open it up. So you can't choose Ralston and then all of a sudden say, no, it's not working, I'm going to Nesbitt. This is a quite important choice that you're making for your students for the next 3 years. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, once you choose a school, you will stay at that particular school. And on that, Ralston is amazing, right? We're all biased. Ms. Bromberg said that. We're great. We're a great team. We're a family. We support our students. We have amazing programs. But speaking honestly, it's not for everyone, right? You know your student best, and you need to choose wisely for them. Curriculum, everyone will be prepared, right? Everyone in BRSSD will be prepared. But the middle school experience is different at Ralston compared to a smaller school, say Nesbitt or Sandpiper. So please choose wisely. Any other questions you're seeing here?
There's a question, how many homerooms are there? A homeroom is determined by a student's first period class. And I don't know approximately how many different sixth grade classes happen at first period.
A lot. It's a good question. I don't know the answer right off the top of my head either, but I can tell you we're a staff, total staff. This is support staff, teachers, everyone of close to 100. We have 56 teachers or something like that. So you figure 8 of those teachers will have prep first period. So we're close to about 50 different homerooms total. And then again, if you're looking at just sixth grade, I break that down. Maybe
I took 1,100, I divided it by 3 and divided that by 28 as like an average class size. I'm gonna go 13, you guys, as an approximate answer for you. There are about 13 different.
Ms. Bromberg, do you teach math?
It's a math teacher right there.
That's basic division, friends.
Showing her thinking.
That's why our Halloween door decorating contest is the bomb. Just FYI.
Thank you for that. So if your child goes to, say, Nesbitt or Sandpiper for elementary, wait, I lost the question. If your child goes to, say, Nesbitt for sixth grade, you couldn't transfer to Ralston for seventh. In the past, the answer would have been no. Again, I can't speak for our new superintendent and if he has any changes in mind. But once you have chosen a middle school, then you are at that middle school.
Somebody commented that they weren't even aware that we had choice, that perhaps it wasn't just zone related and what yours,
No, and this came about a few years ago when the K-8s opened up and there was options. Before everyone just came to Ralston. That's what it was, right? You came to Ralston with Sandpiper and with Nesbitt opening. I would have to say that the thought process was that more students in the Nesbitt area would stay at Nesbitt, more students in the Sandpiper area would stay at Sandpiper. That's why you can choose. Ralston is a bigger school and a little bit more comprehensive, and we have more programs, so people do have the choice. Wheel options, animation, story tech, art.
Fun with French.
Fun with French.
Coding.
The list here: public speaking, intro to strategy, study skills, creative writing, digital literacy. Did you say animation? Intro to leadership, I hear, is like really amazing.
Especially this quarter.
Yeah.
And they do vary, as Mr. Donovan, I believe, said, depending on staff, right? So our electives do change with our staff. If we have, like, if Miss Updegraff left and she was teaching physics, we would try to find another physics teacher, but we're not quite sure if we would be able to do that. So I realize that I'm looking here at the Q&A. It looks like we've answered 91 questions in our text. We've probably done others verbally. There are still a few open questions that we're not going to get to this evening. So I do apologize, but if there's a burning question, please reach out to anyone that you see on the screen here. That would mean any administrator or any counselor. Miss Bromberg and Miss Updegraff are amazing, but let's let them teach and support their kids, and you just contact counselors and admin. We will post this recording to our website, and we will also post our presentation to the website. Stay tuned for more information about orientation, and we really do hope that we can see you in person sometime soon. So thank you so much for your time, and have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.